wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the base.
Welcome back to another episode of Lone Star College Football. We did our way too early offensive breakdown, and now we're going to get into our way too early defensive breakdown. If you didn't catch our offensive breakdown, at the end of the video, we'll link it somewhere over here. Before we get into this, do us a favor, like the video, drop us a comment of how you would break down our defense position by position. Subscribe to the channel. We're growing, and we want to have y'all tag along with us. And we'll get into some giveaways at the end. With that being said, defensive. Man, it feels like maybe I have too much confidence for next year because, we're losing DeMarvion, we're losing Deshaun Jameson, we're losing Coburn, we're losing Moro Ojimo. We're losing a lot of defensive production. But our best defensive player from last year, Jaylon Ford's coming back. He's coming back, and that's great because, well, actually, we're not gonna talk about him yet. Position group number one, the one I have the most confidence in, defensive back, which is surprising, honestly. And if y'all remember, we did a video about like the transfer portal positions in need, and I said safety was our biggest position need. Well, now we've got Jaylon, and if he can stay healthy, he's had some shoulder and hand injuries. If he's healthy, I think he's a stud. Losing Deshaun Jameson sucks. He was a player for us for 4, maybe 5 years. Like, he was solid. Kick returns. I don't think he did many kick returns last year, but he was a kick returner. He was a solid DB. He was undersized, but he made up for it with effort. He was quick. He was a solid defensive back, solid cornerback. But I think the guys that we have, right, Jaron Thompson at safety, played well most of the season. The other safety position is where Michael Taft and Keaton Crawford had to step in, but I think Jaylon is going to fill that role. Ryan Watts played well all year. Terrence Brooks, when he came in the bowl game, he looked ready. They tested him, and he looked ready. And if he can keep that up, he'll be fine there. But even if he doesn't, think about it. I mean, we've got Derek Williams, the number one defensive player in Louisiana. He's a safety, and he's coming in as a true freshman. Now, like I said, I think Jaylon will shore up that other safety position. But if we need help, Derek Williams will be on campus, and he's solid. I say he's solid. We don't really know how he is in college, but in high school ball, he was solid. And then Malik Muhammad at corner. I mean, we've got a class here that whatever position you're looking at, it's like, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. We've got a really talented guy coming in through recruiting. Coach Sark and company, every coach on staff, they are recruiting at a high level. So I think defensive backs are going to be okay. And I think what helps them even more is the fact that I've got the defensive line at my number 2 position. Everybody knows that cornerbacks and safeties, the defensive line is what makes them look good sometimes. Sometimes blown coverages happen, and if the defensive line can get to the quarterback, put pressure or a sack, it bails out the DB, right? So on the defensive line, who are we losing? We're losing Ojimo. We're losing Coburn. Those hurt. Those Ojimo and Coburn, they were solid all year. We would have liked to see more sacks, but I think we're like second in the country out of all FBS teams for pressures on quarterbacks. So those guys are putting in work all season long. But once again, the best player at the position, Barron Sorrell, off the edge. The dude led the team in sacks at 5.5. He was in so many plays. Even when he wasn't getting sacks, he was always around the ball. He was head hunting. The guy was a problem. If he wasn't getting sacks, he was getting pressures. He was pushing the quarterback out of the pocket, making him throw at a bad angle, making him just rush the pass and not set his feet. Barron Sorrell was a problem last year, and I think he's going to do it again this year and hopefully get to the quarterback a few more times. 5.5 from last year being 2.5. This year, our best is 5.5. That's good. Now, next year, let's see 10. We need some double-digit sack, guys. T'Vondre Sweat, I believe he's coming back. He's a big dude, and he's got a ton of experience that helps He's got the experience. He's been on campus for a while. He played this year. He's just gonna have to keep developing, keep growing. The problem is we've got some guys who are just supposed to be that guy, right? They are supposed to be that guy, and they haven't been yet. And some of y'all probably guess who I'm talking about. Alfred Collins. He just hasn't grown into the player that we thought he would. He's 6'5", 288. He's a big dude. We've seen flashes where it's like, man, this dude balled out. Who was it against? Was it against Colorado? They threw that ball, and he's getting blocked and just puts one arm up there and just snags it, just one hand and pulls it in. From a defensive lineman? That's ridiculous. So we know he's athletic. We know he's got it. I don't know. I'm obviously not a coach for the program. I don't know what's holding him back. I don't know if it's him, if it's his mind. I'd be shocked if it was his effort. Like the guy you can tell he plays hard, but whatever it is, we need him to overcome that hurdle this year because Alfred Collins, he's really the last guy that we have. I mean, other than like Vernon Broughton or Byron Murphy, who are also kind of guys that I don't know how old is Vernon Broughton? Byron Murphy, I think he is. Where's he at? So he's a sophomore, so he'll be a junior this year. So it's okay that he isn't really showing out too much yet. We're gonna need him to step up for sure. Alfred Collins, we talked about him. Vernon Broughton. He's a sophomore. Okay, so we have some younger guys they're able to take some time. We have some sophomores coming into juniors this year at the defensive line position. But in the same breath, we have guys who were freshmen this year who I think can step up big time next year, right? Justice Finkley, he's got to be one of them. He's a freshman, 6'2", 245. He was a guy that in the offseason, when he was brand new on campus, a lot of the coaching staff was calling him out by names. When the media would ask, who's impressing you? You heard Justice Finkley's name a lot. And I think between him and Ethan Burke, who is 6'7", 234, between those two guys, I think we'll see. So essentially between Sorrell, Sweat, Collins, Broughton, Murphy, right? Those 5 names. I expect 3 of those to probably be a starter, assuming we stay in our 4-3, which I hope we do. And then I think Finkley or Burke probably come in and play as the younger guy. It wouldn't be out of question. We've got a lot of edge rushers in this draft, in this recruiting class. Akana out of Utah, Vosick from Austin, flipped him from OU. Darian Gillette, he's an edge. Sadir Mitchell, he's D-line. Billy Walton's another edge guy. We've got 4 edge rushers in this class. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those get playing time, but as far as starters, my prediction would be Sorrell, Sweat, hopefully Collins, and then probably Finkley. But I think it'd be nice to have Burke out there just because he's 6'7". It's huge. Throw the ball his way. He's just got to get a hand up. That's all he's got to do. And then lastly, I kind of just broke this one up into 3. Linebackers. We're keeping our best one, right? Jaylon Ford's coming back, and that's great. I mean, I would say if Jaylon Ford left, I would not have a ton of hope for our defense as a whole, right? Because it's like, okay, our D-line's doing their job, DBs are doing their job down the field, but man, that middle of the field, because the middle of the field last season was a problem for us. Our linebackers got to be there. That's the run stop, right? The defensive line they're big, they can plug holes, but we got to have linebackers there so that when those running backs go around the edge, we got to have somebody who can get sideline to sideline quick. And Jaylon Ford is that guy. Jaylon Ford is a stud. If he has the season he had last year again, Jaylon Ford, he's a first-round pick for sure. We lost a good amount of production though. DeMarvion Overshown, he's somebody that it's hard to replace. just because he was a vocal leader on the team. He had been there for so long. And it's tough, but I think with Anthony Hill coming in, I think we'll be okay. I think Anthony Hill's good enough to start day one, as well as Samaje Burrell, Leonga Lafau. I think we've got 3 solid linebackers coming in this class. And we have actually we really don't have any other depth, right? Because linebacker Overshown's leaving, Tucker Dorsey's leaving, Richardson's leaving, Benda. I don't know if he's staying or not, but he wasn't that good. So we need it. I will say also, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm just wrong. Anthony Cook, it has him listed as a DB. Did he play more of that nickel linebacker, or was that who am I thinking of? Jaylon Ford. I get him confused. Jade Barron. Was Jade Barron the nickel? Y'all let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'm blanking. For some reason, I remember number 11 flying to the ball every play, but I can't remember exactly where we lined him up at most of the time. But Anthony Cook's gone. Now, Jade Barron, I believe, is coming back. So that's he's a junior coming back for his senior season. I hope. I don't know if that's been announced yet. So that'll be good. I think our defense next year can be solid. It would be hard for me to say that they're gonna be as good as last year, but we have good coaching, right? Coach Kwiatkowski really stepped up from year 1 to year 2. Hopefully, Gary Patterson stays on campus and he can help us out some more. I think he was a big deal for our production increasing last year. So if we can keep them and keep this production going, we can really turn this program into something pretty great. Especially with Oklahoma, they were down bad last year. I don't expect them to turn it around to be from 6-7 to Big 12. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year. I hope they are, but I don't think they will be. Oklahoma State's down bad. Oklahoma State is just, oh man, they're falling apart. TCU, they're not down yet, but once those people start announcing for the draft and they've got a lot of upperclassmen, I think they're going to have a ton of drop off. Obviously, I'm not going to do a whole Big 12 thing. We'll do that later. But the Big 12, everybody's able to compete next year, maybe except for Oklahoma State. They're going to be terrible. With all that being said, once again, like I said at the beginning, do us a favor, like the video, drop us a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are at about 360. We're going to do a $50 giveaway at 500. And if we reach 1,000 before September 2nd, because that's pretty much week 1, not counting week 0, we want to do ticket giveaways. For sure 1, hopefully 2. It all kind of depends on where we're at as a channel, monetization. We ain't got all the money to be buying everybody tickets. But we're going to do for sure 1. And you don't have to be a Texas or a Baylor fan to win. You can be any other fan. Please, though, don't make us buy a ticket for an Oklahoma game. That would suck. I don't want to buy Oklahoma tickets. But if you subscribe and you win, then we'll do it. And one last thing, we are not sponsored. It's not a paid sponsorship. But Casey Kretcher over at Rollo Insurance was able to save me and my wife $40 a month. We were getting calls from our other insurance that I'm not going to name, and for no reason. Didn't get in any car wrecks or nothing. I guess just the economy. They were raising our prices. So we call Rollo Insurance, and Casey Kretcher was able to save us some money. So give him a call at 903-948-5195. You can see it rolling down below, and see what he can save you on your home, auto, life, health, and business commercial insurance. And that's for everybody who lives in the states of Texas, New Mexico, Utah, Georgia, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. It's free. It doesn't cost any money to talk to him. He'll give you his quote, and you can see if it's better than what you're getting where you're at. Once again, call him over at 903-948-5195. But until next time, appreciate y'all rocking with us. Hook 'em.